The Money Show
with Bruce Whitfield on 702.
702.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty clear that there's a witch hunt underway at the moment, and there are calls for the head of the CEO and the chief operating officer of Eskom. It's part of the politics of Eskom, and why people are not necessarily leaping at the opportunity to go and serve at probably one of the hardest state-owned enterprises to work in. And certainly the board is being reconstituted at the moment, but that's patently clear. The fault of Eskom sits in right at the heart of government. It goes back to the era of Thabo Mbeki. It goes through the failure to adequately plan to replace aging infrastructure and plant long before we got into trouble in 2008. And now we sit 15 years into load shedding, and there's been lots of mucking about on the periphery, the appointment of thieves, crooks and vagabonds at various times in the last decade or so to run Eskom and run it into the ground. And also, there have been multiple boards at Eskom, and this most recent board, which is 18 months past its sell-by date, is now facing being reconstituted. What does it take to get a good board? Who should have the power to put people on the board? And we're going to hone in on the Eskom board this evening with Ansie Ramalho, the independent corporate governance consultant. And if we can focus on government, which calls the shots at its state-owned entities, and it calls the shots, for either good or for worse, in state-owned enterprises, including Eskom. Ansie, if you were consulting government on how to reconstitute the board, if Pravin Gordon gave you a call after the show tonight and said, Ansie, I need your help, what sort of help would you offer?
Hi, Bruce. I wish you would. First of all, Bruce, it's we don't know what the reasons are for letting the board go over its term. We don't know the reasons why the vacancies, I think there are 7 of them, have been allowed to continue for 2 years. Under the best of circumstances, that's not a good proposition. But if you take into account the crisis in which Eskom finds itself, it's of course even more urgent to have all hands on deck. And so if I have to give advice as to who should be appointed, I would really look to appointing people with the right expertise and competence to deal with the crisis.
Be more specific, Ansie. I mean, we've got some very competent and capable people on the board, and they've got a particular set of skills or multiple sets of skills. What they don't have is how to run a power station 101 skills.
Correct. So it's not only about being a competent person, it's about having the competency that is fit for purpose, that is fit for the situation and the industry of the board that you're sitting on. And I would add to that it's not only about your competency and your expertise, that we also need to look at issues such as integrity and your ethics, which I hope would just be a given. And then lastly, it's very important for whoever sits on a board to be able to exercise their judgment objectively and independently. And so if there is any if there's any patronage or ideology or politics that influences these appointments, then it immediately taints that particular attribute that you require on a board, on any board, and particularly a board like Eskom.
this is so important, Ansie, because you have in a normal company, you've got the chair of the board, and they have multiple committees chaired by and run by very capable people, and kind of together they decide who the chairperson will be, and they work it all out, and the chair may change from time to time, and certainly the chair has a lot of power in that board in terms of constituting the board and who should be on and who should be off, and people get moved on and off. When it comes to a government-appointed board, people get given a board seat and then get given a term. Useless, incapable, capable or not, they're given a term to work, and the chair of that board doesn't have the flexibility that they should have. And begs the final question to you, Ansie. Is a board seat on Eskom something you would accept for the sake of your reputation, the way in which things are structured at the moment?
Not the way things are structured at the moment. I would want certain commitments, and I think any right-thinking board member worth her salt would ask for certain commitments before, for example, that there be clarity on policy. One of the issues at Eskom is that the shareholding minister and the policy minister are not housed in the same ministry. That we would have the support of both these ministers, that policy would open the way for the company to actually find its way and to do what it's supposed to do. If those enablers are not in place, you set yourself up for failure by accepting a board appointment.
Thank you, Ansie Ramalho, very much indeed. Independent corporate governance consultant. That is the big problem Bravin Gordon has got as he tries to reconstitute the board of Eskom.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.